poems to Mulgrave and Scroope. John Wilmot, dear friend, I hear this town does so abound with saucy censurers, that faults are found with what of late we in poetic rage bestowing threw away on the dull age. But howso envy their spleen may raise to rod my brow of the deserved bays, their thanks at least I merit, since through me they are partakers of your poetry. And this is all I'll say in my defense: to obtain one line of your well-worded sense, I'd be content to have it the British prince. I'm none of those who think themselves inspired, no right with the vain hopes to be admired. But from a rule I have upon long trial to avoid with care all sort of self-denial, which way so desire and fancy lead, contemning fame, the path I boldly tread. And if exposing what I take for wit, to my dear self, a pleasure I beget, no matter though the censoring critique fret. Those whom my muse displeases, or at strife with equal spleen, against my course of life, the least delight of which I'd not forego, for all the flattering praise man can bestow. If I design to please the wayward, then commend my manners rather than my pen. The first unnatural, therefore unfit, and for the second I despair of it, since grace is not so hard to get as wit. Perhaps ill verses ought to be confident in mere good breeding, like unsavory wind. Were reading forked, I should be apt to think men might no more write scurvily than stink. But 'tis your choice whether you read or no. If likewise of your smelling it were so, I'd fart just as I write, for my own ease. Nor should you be concerned, unless you please. I'll own that you write better than I do, but I have as much need to write as you. What though the excrement of my dull brain runs in a harsh, insipid strain, whilst your rich head eases itself of wit? Must none but civic cats have leave to shit? In all I write, should sense, and wit, and rhyme fail me at once, yet something so sublime shall stamp my poem, that the world may see it could have been product by none but me. And that's my end, for man can wish no more than so to write as none e'er writ before. Yet why am I no poet of the times? I have illusions, similes and rhymes, and wit, or else 'tis hard that I alone, of the whole race of mankind, should have none. Unequally, the partial hand of heaven has all but this one only blessing given. The world appears like a great family, whose lord oppressed with pride and poverty, that to a few great plenty he may show, is fain to starve the numerous train below. Just so seems Providence, as poor and vain, keeping more creatures than it can maintain. Here 'tis profuse, and there it meanly saves, and for one prince it makes 10,000 slaves. In wit alone it has been magnificent, of which so just a share to each is sent, that the most avaricious are content. For none e'er thought the due division such, his own too little, or his friends too much. Yet most men chew, or find great want of wit, writing themselves, or judging what is writ. But I, who am of sprightly vigor full, look on mankind as envious and dull. Born to myself I like alone, and must conclude my judgment good, or none. For should my sense be naught, how could I know whether another man's were good or no? Thus, I resolve of my own poetry, that 'tis the best, and there's a fame for me. If then I'm happy, what does it advance, whether to merit due, or arrogance? Oh, but the world will take offense thereby. Why then the world shall suffer for single quote, not adhere this saucy world, and I agree to let it have its beastly will on me. Why should my prostituted sense be drawn to every rule their musty customs spawn? But men will censure you. 'Tis 2 to 1 when ere they censure, they'll be in the wrong. There's not a thing on earth that I can name so foolish and so false as common fame. It calls the courtier knave, the plain man rude, haughty the grave, and the delightful lewd. Impertinent the brisk, morose the sad, mean the familiar, the reserved one mad. Poor helpless woman is not favored more, she's a sly hypocrite, or public whore. Then who the devil would give this, to be free from innocent reproach of infamy? These things considered, make me, in despite of idle rumor, keep at home, and write.